It's not a coincidence that you've clicked on this video because you are one identity shift away from millions. And before millions arrive, there's something fascinating happens, and most people miss it completely. You see, wealth doesn't arrive randomly. It arrives when your body, your nervous system feels safe to hold it. And there are specific patterns that happens before that floodgates of money and abundance comes into your reality. Because I experienced this shift before wealth came into my life. I witnessed these patterns, these energetic recalibration, these shifts that I'm going to talk to you about. And what I've noticed, it is about this one identity shift that allows the right people, right opportunities, the right clients to show up in the reality. And it is a subtle identity shift that unlocks that level of wealth. Because the truth is, there's a version of you that has already accumulated wealth, that is already living a life of a millionaire, that is already attracting and magnetizing the right people, the right opportunities, love, abundance, freedom. That version already exists in quantum field, but it cannot find you because the identity you are showing up in does not match that frequency, that vibration, that reality exists in. And because of that gap between the version of you who already has it and the version of you that is hoping and praying and wanting, that is the gap that is creating separation from when the million arrives. It is not the manifestation techniques. It is not the journaling or affirmation. It is your identity. And most people are focused on everything external. But there's something deeper within happening within your identity. This is why I love working on the core wounding that keeps that separation from where you want to go and where you are. And when you can release that separation, that core wound that has unworthiness, that has not enoughness, that feels that I am not worthy yet. That is such a key in you shifting that identity that creates million. That I am not ready yet, I am not enough yet, I'm not worthy yet. That is what your frequency, your body, your nervous system is speaking to you energetically, and that is what creating the separation. So I'll go deeper into that because this is what keeps people stuck in not achieving their manifestation, the abundance, the financial freedom, the desire, because they are operating in a certain level. So one of the first thing you have to understand around that is that there's a difference between becoming, remembering, and being. And that difference of I am becoming successful, I am becoming healthy, I am becoming wealthy, that is saying from on a frequency level that I am not it. I am still becoming. I'm still remembering. I'm still holding myself back. And this is what separates from having and wanting. Because the having frequency is that I already am. I am the being that magnetizes. But most people are in remembering and becoming. Most people are focused on, I have to be perfect. I have to have a pretty website. I have to have a whole program ready. I have to make sure that everything is ready before I say that I am. And that idea that I have to be fully ready before I can really say that I can have millions, I am ready for millions, that is what creates separation. And the reason people stay there, there's a deeper reason why, because subconsciously there is a fear and there is this unworthiness that I am not enough yet, I'm not worthy yet. So that creates that subconscious pattern that I have to be ready. I have to have a beautiful website. I have to have a photo shoot. I have to have this. I have to have that before I can be ready. I have to be perfect in speaking before I launch my business. I have to have a perfect product before I launch my business. All of those things, and even if you have a business, if you already have a business and you haven't reached that mark where you desire millions, then that is identity wounding that says that I am not ready for millions. Even on the surface, you may say that I would love a million. I would love to be a millionaire, right? But on the deeper level, there are fear around being rich. There are fear around being wealthy, or there might be guilt. There might be shame. There might be unworthiness. That is all creating that separation from who you truly are on soul level, who you deeply desire to be, because your soul knows. That's why you keep desiring it, because your soul knows who you are. And that's why this fire that ignites that I want this, I desire this, I love this. I see myself as somebody who's a leader, who's an author, who's a speaker, who is creating a bigger impact in the world, who has a legacy, right? That deep desire that you have that is burning within, that is a confirmation that your soul knows who you are. The reason you cannot have it, because all the identity wound around you, what has happened in the past, what people said, who abandoned you, who rejected you, who did not see your value, who did not see your worth, all of that creating that separation. And that separation looks like being very busy. That separation looks like trying to perfect everything else, trying to make sure that everything is ready and perfect. That is an identity wound. That is a wound that says that I am not ready. I am not ready. That confirms that your nervous system is also contracting, that I'm not ready for millions because I don't feel safe if I'm able to handle millions, if I'm able to handle that visibility where people are seeing there's so many clients. I don't know if I can handle. What if there's too much responsibility? What if it asks me too much to do? What if people get jealous? What if people attack me? What if being successful means that I'm going to lose my loved ones? These are all identity wounding. I'm speaking all different ones. Everyone has different wounding, but these are the major one that people have. And there are shame around making money, especially people when they have a business and they're also spiritual, they also believe in God, and they are like, I want to be rich and wealthy, but what if people call me that I'm only there for money? What if people say that I only care about money? So there's a guilt and shame, right? And people do that, especially in spiritual community. People have that belief around that this type of work has to be free. But ultimately, that is their limitation, because every work, every single human has value and worth. Every single being, and every value that is delivered needs to have an energetic exchange. And if there is no energetic exchange, then that person who is delivering the value, they are undervaluing themselves. If they believe that they have to do it for free, or they cannot charge a lot, or people will think they are greedy or selfish, these are all limitations. That is not true. That is a limiting belief. I used to have that belief that people will judge me, or people will think that I am greedy, or I am this, or I'm that. But ultimately, that was the shame, that was ancestral shame around money that made me feel that judgment. But once I shifted that, I attracted the right clients easily and effortlessly. People were willing to pay thousands and thousands of dollars for my work because I no longer hold that belief. And when we hold that belief, we become energetic match to those type of people. This is the key. This is why releasing the core wounding and healing that is so important, because if that is not healed, you will be an energetic match to people who are going to doubt you, who are going to say things like that, who are going to say, oh, you charge too much, or you are greedy, or you are selfish. You will become an energetic match to those type of people. And that is why people who have these wounding, they see that, and that confirms their subconscious belief around money and the idea of greed and idea of selfishness. And they say, oh my goodness, people are now hating me because I'm charging money. Right? So these are the things needs to be shifted in order to move from becoming to being. To being that I am a millionaire, I am wealthy, I am commanding that energy who is a millionaire, who attracts, who magnetizes wealth. By the way, I am doing a live event on quantum self. Like I said, identity is everything. Identity attracts, magnetize your wealth, your abundance, your millions. And this will not be on YouTube. It will be a Zoom event. So it will not be available on YouTube. If you would like to be part of that event where you will learn the truth around how to shift into that quantum self, the version of you that attracts, that magnetize wealth and abundance easily, then you can click the link below to register for that event. And it will not be on YouTube. So make sure if you really want to be in that event, then register by clicking the link below. It will be on Zoom and you will get all the details once you register for that event. Another thing, it is a key. When you are one identity shift away, like I said, from becoming to being, that is the shift that is required. But there are evidence. What you have to understand, before wealth arrives, you start seeing the evidence of it. How? I'll tell you my example. So when we are creating that millions in our mind, in our energy, through our frequency, we are calling in that amount. But 95% of that is invisible. It is not seen. So the work starts happening when you start commanding and demanding that level of wealth. From the universal perspective, that work already begun. But most people either give up on their desire, on that creation, or they start believing that it is not possible or it is not coming soon enough. So they start sabotaging, they start operating on a different way. They start fearing, they start worrying, they start thinking it is not possible, it is not going to happen. Right? So what you have to understand is that 95% is invisible. And before it becomes visible, there are certain patterns. What happens that because you are co-creating, your vibration is shifting, and that manifestation of millions are coming true, people in your reality will start saying things that will confirm as an evidence. With me, people started saying, oh, you are very rich. You have millions. You are a millionaire. I believe you're already a millionaire. People started saying these things before that level of wealth started coming in. People started confirming and affirming. Everywhere I went, people were like on the phone. If I'm speaking to somebody, if I'm meeting people, they're like, oh, you're already rich. I can really tell you're very rich. Right? And it was a evidence, it was a confirmation. So what I did with that information, I was like, yes, it is close, it is coming through. And that really shifted my energy. That really confirmed even more. That was just the evidence. And that's what happens when you're very, very close. People start really speaking what you've been telling yourself, what you're co-creating in the universe. People start saying those things to you, even if you don't say it verbally yourself, people will affirm that for you. That is a huge evidence that your manifestation and that wealth and abundance is arriving soon. And that only happens when you start being that identity of millions. that identity and frequency of millions. However, you must release any limitations that are in the way. And those limitations, whether that is a nervous system regulation, whether releasing inner child healing and releasing the core wounding, whether healing your identity, any identity related wounding that is within you. And when you do that deeper work, then your frequency starts shifting. You start believing more, because belief is the first step. The certainty, the belief is the first step to create, to allow the millions to come into your reality. So, if you are ready to bring in millions in your life easily and effortlessly, knowing that you are done becoming, you are ready to move up into that identity that holds million, that opens its capacity, that regulates its nervous system to hold millions, then I would invite you to apply for my mentoring by clicking the link below, where we actually shift your identity fully, completely in that $1,000,000 version who is able to command that level of wealth. So if you are ready for that, click the link below to apply for my mentoring. Otherwise, register for Quantum Self event, which will be happening on 27th of June. And you can register for that event by clicking the link below. And with that, like this video if you like this video, and subscribe to my channel. And may the light in me reaches the light in you.